GTA 6 has got to be one of the most highly anticipated games pretty much of all time. It trumps Hollow Knight Silksong, it trumps Metroid Prime 4, it trumps Kingdom Hearts 4, all of them. Throw all of them out the window, every single one. And that just shows in the numbers, right? I mean, you look at both the trailers for the games that have gotten well over 100 million views. And fun fact, the first trailer has actually officially became the most viewed trailer ever on YouTube. So, little to say, the hype for the game was at an all-time high. You had hundreds of huge streamers, content creators talking about it and reacting to it as well. Even my irrelevant ass did a video about the game coming out and being teased a while back when I was talking about Rockstar's tweet celebrating their anniversary. Also, I'm gonna make you guys feel so old, but the first trailer for the game came out in 2023. Get this? It's literally almost been 2 years since that trailer dropped. I know, guys, we're all just racing to the graves. I swear. Like, holy hell, man. Now, since that initial wave of hype for the game, people have mostly just been waiting silently for it to have any kind of update.
Now, if we look up to the moon, you'll notice that there are power lines intersecting in a way that read VI. Now, I'm sure if you stare at any image long enough, you'll begin to see VI everywhere you look, but if we pay close attention to the phase of the moon, it's actually in the waning gibbous phase once again. So, based on the previous moon theory, we can predict that the next GTA 6 announcement will be when the next waning gibbous takes place, which is November the 22nd. What do these two dates have in common? They both happen on Fridays. Last year, in 2023, we received the Chop Shop DLC, which released on the 12th of December, 1 week after the GTA 6.
Okay, maybe not silently. Some of these niggas went like actual Matt Pat crazy. A lot of them actually. There were a couple pieces of news that dwindled the hype like a tiny bit, like the whole discussion of the game likely costing over $100, in which from what I see, it's very polarizing and has a lot of different opinions from both sides of the coin. And of course, there's been the delays. Now, if you don't know, this is something that's kind of typical for a game made by Rockstar to happen. And this is throughout their entire history, and there's so many examples of this, like with, for example, their Manhunt series that had multiple delays, and you even had games like Red Dead Redemption 2 that came out all the way back in 2019. That game also had multiple delays. And even when you just look at GTA by itself, the series has had delays since the very first game, where apparently the creative director had even said that the milestones they were meant to uphold didn't really materialize, and that's why the games got delayed. From what I understand, the people over at Rockstar Games are pretty big perfectionists when it comes to their titles, and with one of the most highly anticipated games of all time within the reach of people, they really could mess this up. It's a lot of pressure, and they're only human. Kind of. Now, me personally, I'm all for games being delayed. I think that game delays just means that they have passion and care for the title that they're making, and they want it to be at a standard that they feel like can be distributed to people. As one Miyamoto said a long time ago, a delayed game is eventually good. A bad game is... Now, going back to GTA 6, the game originally was supposed to come out sometime in 2025, as was revealed at the end of the first trailer. And later on, it was revealed to specifically be around autumn of 2025, according to Take-Two's financial briefing back in November of 2024. However, I don't think anyone was buying that, and it turned out that, like clockwork, the game would get its first delay in early May, where it would get delayed to May 26, 2026. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. With every game we've released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. So this will be the new date. Everyone's looking forward to it, everyone's set their calendars, people have called off work, people have probably delayed their baby making to have an after May. Like, you have people prepping for May like the apocalypse is about to come out. That is until very recently, where bad news struck again on November 6th of this year, where Rockstar would reveal, would you look at that, another delay! Hey everyone, Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you've come to expect and deserve. Now, let's just say people were not happy.
Grand Theft Auto will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. It's not coming out. It's not coming out.
is not coming out!
Now, a thing you have to keep in mind for why people are reacting this way is that Rockstar has not released a single game in, and I shit you not when I say this, 7 years. And in the span of 13 years, they've only released one game, that being Red Dead 2. And even when you look at the timeline of the Grand Theft Auto games, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013. That would be a 13-year gap between 5 and 6. That is insane. Now look, I don't think people are asking them to release games every single year or anything like that, like they've done in the early 2000s, where they released hella games. But we kind of get to an opposite problem of games like Assassin's Creed or the Call of Duty series, where you're not getting anything whatsoever for more than a decade long. And honestly, I can imagine that's a lot, especially if you're a huge fan of Rockstar. And once again, I'm all for taking your time creating the best game that you possibly can. I'm all for delaying titles when necessary. Once again, people are always going to remember that first experience. You want that first experience to be a good kind of memorable, not a Cyberpunk 2077 kind of memorable. But when that's the first title you released in 13 years and you constantly keep delaying it, I can understand people getting frustrated when further delays happen. Now, of course, you have things like the GTA Online mode that has spawned an entire other community in doing things like GTA RP to kind of soften the blow a little bit. At least there's something you can do in the meantime while GTA 6 is coming out, and it kind of softens the blow. Yo, man, the blow still hurts, man, like a lot. Now, this delay was not only bad for the fans, but also bad for Rockstar themselves. For one, it had actually caused Take-Two's stock to fall by 18% and lose $3 billion in market value, which is really bad and kind of crazy that the delay would cause that much damage. But once again, when you have people that have been waiting up to like 7 years for a new game to release, it's gonna affect the reputation of the company eventually. Also, another thing that I saw that was really funny is that there was a bet going around that people were saying that Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior, would be returning before GTA 6 comes out. And after the delay, that bet ended up increasing by like 50%, betting that Jesus is gonna come down first. It's so funny. And morale of the public has been pretty low too, with some people saying that this wait has been a detriment to the excitement they had for the game. And even the Polish government made a comment on GTA 6 getting delayed.
Wysoka Izbo, w ramach oświadczenia poselskiego chciałem poinformować o bardzo bulwersującej sprawie, ponieważ godzinę temu Rockstar Games zapowiedziało, że premiera gry GTA 6 zostanie przesunięta na za rok. No to jest ogromny skandal, powiem szczerze. Jeśli po czymś takim ludzie nie wyjdą na ulicę, to już nie wiem.
Yo, 2025 is just full of mysteries, man. Like, holy hell, man. Now, for what it's worth mentioning, Strauss Zelnick, who's the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, had said publicly that he feels really good about this date. When we set a date, we really do believe in it. We said when we set the last date, if a game requires more polish to be the best possible version of itself, then we will give that game more time. And that's exactly what happened. We feel really good about this release date. It's in the same fiscal year, it happens to be a great release window, and naturally, we're really supportive of Rockstar's approach. And then he also said this with IGN, that I'm highly confident. There have been limited circumstances where more time was required to polish a title and make sure it was spectacular, and that time has been well spent. When our competitors go to market before something was ready, bad things happen. That said, I'm highly confident on the new date. It seems that he went on like a mini press tour because he knew that people were not going to be happy about another 6-month wait for it. Now, the only issue with him trying to instill confidence in people, though, is that he apparently said the same exact thing when the game was supposed to come out in 2025, and less than 3 months ago, he said that his level of conviction is very high in having the game released in May of 2026. So, really isn't as reassuring when you keep all that in mind. Now, I guess the main question is, why exactly is the game getting delayed? Is it going to be one of those situations like Cyberpunk, where the game gets constantly delayed, and then when it finally comes out, it's complete dog doo-doo water? Is it like in development hell of some kind? And is there maybe an ulterior reason that they're not giving necessarily? Is it only the fact that they need more time to polish the game? Now, the reason I bring up that ulterior reasoning, and the reason why other people were asking about it, is due to a recent protest that's going on currently at the headquarters of Rockstar Games. So first, what the hell am I even talking about? So this all starts on the 31st of October, where a report by Bloomberg revealed that Rockstar had actually fired between 30 to 40 employees in both the UK and Canada, just out of the blue, which had caused them to protest against Rockstar. Now, not a lot was known about specifically why the layoffs happened, but from what was known at the time, you basically had two sides. One, of course, was the union itself, the employees, people that took their side, and you even had the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain, and the president at the time had actually made a statement echoing the sentiments of the people, basically saying that Rockstar had committed, quote unquote, one of the most blatant and ruthless acts of union busting in the history of the games industry. And if you guys don't know what union busting is, basically it's when like a higher power tries to either disrupt or weaken in some sort of way the power of trade unions so that they don't grow to a point where they would actually have influence. And that's what they're speculating. Basically, they're saying that Rockstar is against workers' rights. Then you had Rockstar that had a spokesman for them put out a statement saying that the firing of these guys were for quote-unquote gross misconduct and that we fully support Rockstar's ambitions and approach. They were going spokesman for spokesman here, guys. Really, really intense. Now, the story of what exactly happened and what these workers did wrong wasn't really revealed. All that was known really was the gross misconduct claim that Rockstar had in their statement, and that the employees that got laid off were a part of a trade union chat group on Discord that were either union members or people that were attempting to organize the company. Once again, this is basically all for workers' rights, so workers get better benefits. Now, Rockstar, specifically with GTA 6, has had times where confidential information had been leaked. The biggest example being in 2022, when tons of info about the game got fully revealed to the public. Things like it having a female protagonist, and even up to an hour of leaked gameplay footage that was uploaded to YouTube, which caused Take-Two to roll down takedown requests for the footage to be wiped, and then they put out a statement about the whole thing since it went so viral, which is completely understandable. And this isn't even the only time where stuff had gotten leaked at the company, like the time where the first trailer got leaked to everyone and they ended up having to release the trailer early and encourage everyone to watch the real version on their YouTube channel. And there's other times too, but you get what I'm trying to say here. The reason I say all this is to say that I can understand them not wanting to have this happen again and take any risk of someone leaking the game's progress again. This is why there was some sympathy people were willing to give Rockstar, and people had ended up kind of taking them at their word, because maybe this was another instance of a bunch of bad actors rallying together to try and reveal information about the game. It's not the most likely thing in the world, but I mean, it could happen, I guess. And this is what was actually heavily speculated to be the possible reason as to why these layoffs occurred. And they had actually gone along with this, basically saying that the employees were fired for leaking secrets about the company or the game or whatever the case may be. We don't know exactly what the secrets are for, but you can imagine it's insider information. Once again, it's very convenient that it's the trade group trying to give workers more rights that apparently leaked information, but I guess crazier things have happened, I guess. Now, later on, that narrative would have quite a bit of pushback to it when, on the 6th of November, basically the same day that they made the statement, an anonymous account that came out on the GTA Forums website that was also verified by the staff to be legit, came out with a much different narrative. And it's a narrative that might not be too surprising. Hey everyone, Rockstar employee of many years here. I've been reading a lot of discussion on here and elsewhere about the firing of more than 34 of my colleagues last week, 31 in the UK and 3 in Canada, and have seen a lot of disinformation and lies that are really concerning, particularly concerning how so many folk are willing to believe the company's excuses. So as you can see, the narrative that was going on about the employees being bad actors were apparently untrue according to this anonymous account. Now, this is a very long statement and has a lot of information about what occurred, so I'm just gonna summarize the most important bits to you guys. So for starters, they kind of go right into what exactly happened, saying that employees were messaged by HR for a meeting that seemed friendly at first, with a message given to them if they were free for a quick chat. And then, after joining the meeting, they were given a letter saying that they were terminated for gross misconduct. And for whatever reason, reason didn't show any evidence or examples of gross misconduct, but just labeled it as gross misconduct and fired them. Now, this was further corroborated by one of the devs that got interviewed by the GTA base account on Twitter about the protests. I was brought into a meeting on Thursday morning. It was framed as a catch-up, and in that meeting, I was told that I was being fired. No evidence was provided, and I was asked to leave the building. Now, others that weren't in the studio that day had just gotten a phone call from HR saying that they were fired. And the Anon even mentioned that one of the employees had a panic attack at that moment, which, if this is true, is just incredibly cruel and disgusting for them to be that cold towards them. Now, another narrative that went on is that, oh my god, this is all DEI people. It must be people who just run the Rockstar Twitter account and that's it. However, according to the account, they mentioned that these were not just random ragtag employees and these weren't just people on Twitter, but senior artists, animators, QA testers, designers, programmers, producers, and even full-on leads that have been employed at Rockstar for more than 18 years. They then go on to say, these colleagues of mine were hard workers who have spent many years at Rockstar in critical roles. They are not easily replaced and will certainly affect us in making our project deadlines. Then the anonymous account claimed that they were a part of this trade union Discord group and said that they never saw any kind of confidential information getting leaked or discussed in any way, and that it was private only, containing employees at Rockstar and union officials. So even if there was anything being discussed regarding any confidential information, the likelihood of anything getting leaked was damn near impossible. And what was really fishy about these firings was this. So just 1 week before, the union had reached over 200 members, taking us over the 10% threshold required to seek recognition and begin engaging in collective bargaining, allowing us to negotiate directly with management on key issues that affect us: worsening crunch, inadequate pay, and inflexible working arrangements, which is truly the heartbreaking part. As for us in the union, all of our ambition was to make Rockstar a happier, fairer, safer, and more equitable place. That's all. What was happened clearly shows that we care more about the well-being of our colleagues at Rockstar than the company does. So, conveniently, at the point where they could start actually advocating for workers' rights and trying to make sure that there was no toxic things going on at the company, Rockstar all of a sudden lays off people for a reason that they couldn't even allegedly prove to them. It's very hard to side with Rockstar. This convenient timing that people conveniently leaked a game and they conveniently had to press the big red button and let go of all of those people, conveniently all in the same Discord chat, that they would probably have to be advocating for them to be spending more money on actually taking care of their workers. Now, in the interview with GTA Base, they also deny the claim that there was any leaked information that went on in that Discord group chat. So they say Take-Two Interactive has claimed these firings were due to gross misconduct and leaking of company secrets. What do you have to say about this? Do you have any idea what they mean by it? And they say, we refute that confidential information was shared publicly. Workers only communicated in private and legally protected trade union channels and did not leak any information publicly. Where are the leaks? Which, I mean, is a fair question. And kind of the last thing is that due to these layoffs, morale at Rockstar is very low at the company at the moment, and seeing that with the people getting fired allegedly being veterans that have worked at the company for more than a decade, that would make sense that people wouldn't feel like the happiest working at Rockstar right now. On top of that, the people who are still working there are probably very scared too, because if people who had been at the company for 18 years aren't safe from getting fired, allegedly, then what's stopping them from getting rid of anybody else that's opposing them or speaking out? It's wild. So ultimately, this is what's causing the protests, and people had linked this to GTA because this could very well be a possible reason for them announcing the game getting delayed yet again. As once again, veterans are getting laid off and morale is low, which would logically make sense that the production of GTA 6 could possibly be slowing down. Now, maybe you're saying, what if these people aren't even working on GTA 6? How would that affect them? I think they would consider, generally close with one another, having them completely laid off unfairly like this is not going to have morale at the highest regardless of if those people specifically were working on the project or not. Now, Jason Schreier had confirmed that the delay had nothing to do with the protests or the union stuff that's going on, and said that the reported earning from Take-Two is why they announced it when all this was going on. Which, if this is true, that's just a terrible timing for them, I won't lie. Now, this caught a lot of attention and was reported on by IGN, Dexerto, BBC, Polygon, all the big article companies that report on game news. And all of this attention had caused Rockstar to make the statement that they made, sticking to their guns that the employees were leaking information. So once again, at this point, it's a double down. Now, this caused people standing with the employees to speak out that this isn't true, like Alex Marshall, who is the president of the IWUGB, and he ended up saying that Rockstar continued to deflect from the real reason for these dismissals. They are afraid of hardworking staff privately discussing exercising their rights for a fair workplace and a collective voice. Management are showing that they don't care about delays to GTA 6 and that they're prioritizing union busting by targeting the very people who make the game. In recent years, Rockstar executives have benefited from £443 million in tax relief, while showing total disregard for the law or the livelihoods of their staff. At every turn, they've chosen profits over both workers and fans of their games. And another person that spoke out against this claim was Christine Jardine, who is the Democratic member of Parliament for Edinburgh West, and she had ended up advocating for the support of the workers that unfairly lost their jobs as well. So a lot of people are taking their side. So there's some big accusations being thrown on both sides right now, and if you're looking this at a pure objective lens, it for the most part could go either way, but I think that ultimately whatever side you hold is the side you hold. But regardless of which side you're on, this whole thing is very messy to say the least. And seemingly because they decided to double down on accusing them of gross misconduct, on November 12th, the IWGB had decided to file a legal claim against them. So it says, "We are representing employees who were dismissed by Rockstar Games in circumstances that we believe amount to victimization and collective dismissal linked to trade union activity. Despite our representation and attempts to meet with Rockstar to resolve the matter through negotiation, Rockstar have declined and persisted to terminate the members of the union in a manner that is unacceptable and unlawful. Accordingly, we have now issued formal legal claims against Rockstar on behalf of claimants." And then they reaffirm here that they are confident that what they've seen here is plain and simple union busting. And then there was even a fairly recent report that more protests are going on in both London and Paris, and they're even going to be marching to Scotland's parliament, so that way some change happens, even though a lot of government officials have to notice, as I mentioned before. Also, it was recently reported that hundreds of GTA 6 developers were actually sending in letters to Rockstar about this whole thing, saying that the letters were in condemnation of the firing, which once again ties back into that whole thing I was talking about morale being low, this affecting developers, even though the developers that got fired aren't necessarily the ones that worked for GTA 6. This would still affect them, and I think them sending letters in condemnation to Rockstar kind of proves that point there. So who knows how much this is going to escalate? There'd be a full-on strike by the employees working on GTA 6 for them to reconsider, or else they won't work on the game. It's very possible now that we know that the devs are on their side. So I don't know, man. They're very adamant towards this being blatant union busting, and once again, from the outside looking in, I lean more towards this in fact being union busting myself because of how many people are on these guys' side. It could still be a massive coincidence over at Rockstar, but we'll just have to wait and see. And there was actually even news of a Rockstar insider that had come out and said that there's a possibility that the game could get delayed again to 2027.
There you are, you little shit. Are you looking for this? No.
Very funny. You know, you're a real asshole.
Rockstar just hate you guys, man. They just hate y'all, man. Now, keep in mind, that seems to be just word of mouth, and we don't know for sure anything about that. But I won't lie, if that happens, while the game is still obviously going to sell well, I don't think anything that can happen unless the game gets full on canceled. GTA 6 is going to make a lot of money for Rockstar. But I think that could be very catastrophic for Rockstar in the long run. Specifically, their reputation. Let's just say people would not be happy with Rockstar. So ultimately, that's the situation that's going on right now. It's very messy, like I said before, and we're just gonna have to see what happens. I really hope the people who get fired get like some sort of benefits or something, because once again, just like last minute firing people like that is absolutely insane. My opinion is that I'm kind of standing with the workers. For Rockstar to be in the right, this would have to be like the most terrible timing for them ever. Or they did this and did the delay, less would be on the protest. However, having those two things things happen so close together had actually, I think, bolstered people knowing more about the protest than not. But look, the only thing you guys can do at this point, drop trailer 3. That's all I'm saying. I think that's probably the best bet. That is all, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.